Algebra 2, Concept 20, which is dealing with both logs and inverses. I'm going to look at number 37 in this video on worksheet 21.8. Number 37, you have this multiple choice question. Both of these in this video are going to be multiple choice questions. And number 37 asks, which expression represents f of g of x, the composition of these functions, if f of x equals x squared minus 1 and g of x equals x plus 3. So there's our four choices, A, B, and C, and D. Now for this f of g of x, this notation tells me I'm going to take this x plus 3 and I'm going to plug it into the f function. Now a lot of people get that first step a little bit off, but when you're plugging in, that means that this x from f of x is becoming now x plus 3 minus 1. So now instead of just x squared, this is now x plus 3 squared. And then we've got to take this and we've got to simplify it. Now a lot of people want to take this and just make it x squared plus 9. But remember that when you're squaring these parentheses, this x plus 3 becomes x plus 3 times x plus 3. FOIL or multiply, use the box, however you do it. X times x is x squared. X times 3 is 3x. 3 times x is 3x. And then 3 times 3 is 9. But don't forget you have that minus 1, so that's going to come down with it, and now you got to combine like terms. So it becomes x squared plus 6x, 9 minus 1 combines to give you positive 8, which means that B is your solution for number 37. 41 also asks, which of the following is the inverse of f of x equals 1/2 x minus 2? Now, there's a couple ways you could do this. If you did it one way where you wrote out the steps, that's a good way to do this. But the one thing we would suggest, that I would suggest, is if you're going to write out the steps, take this x, and instead of making a 1/2 x, make it x over 2 minus 2 instead. So there's our function, x over 2 minus 2. This is the same thing as 1/2 x. So now when we look at these steps, there's two things happening when you plug a number in for x. If you plug a number in here, the first thing you're doing is you're dividing by 2. Then the last thing you're doing is subtracting 2. Now remember, for the inverse means we're going to flip those steps and do the opposite. So this will go first, but instead of subtracting 2, we're going to add 2. And instead of dividing by 2, we're going to multiply by 2. So to show this with the variable, I'm going to take my x, add 2, but then since that has to happen first, I have to put that in parentheses, and then times 2, so I'm going to put the 2 in front to represent this multiplication. Now notice that in these four answers, there aren't parentheses anywhere, which means you have to take the 2 and distribute. 2 times x is 2x, 2 times 2 is 4, so now I'm looking for 2x plus 4, which is right here. F inverse of x equals 2x plus 4. There's my correct choice for number 41.